on. I also would need help or assistance once I've opened up my application that I'm going to talk about. There's a code that people need to join in order to engage. If you could please put that in the chat. It's not going to come up as something again. It will not be showcased again. So if people join late, I'll just refer them to the chat in order to join as well. But in the meantime, there is a link that I can post into the chat for now. Okay, it's there now. And then I'll share my screen.
Thanks, Denise. Colleagues, this is our second How Cool Is That in this room. And, oh, sorry, I'm starting the last presentation. Denise, what have you done to me, Denise? Thanks, Ronelle. Sorry. I keep going back to Denise, and I did the same in the last session. Colleagues, this is Ronelle from WITS in the Faculty of Health Sciences. She's a lecturer there. Nothing is coming through, Ronelle. Let me know if you want me to guide you through sharing your presentation. Okay. It's putting through now. Yeah. Thank you very much.
I can see a mirror, Lindelani, so is that okay?
You are now tab that you want to show us. I think the import.
Yeah, so that's the screen.
Thank you.
Is that correct?
Yes, we see the import tab. Is that what you want to show us?
Correct. And then can you see the screen under lessons?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, then it's good to go. Good afternoon, everyone. Like the facilitator said, or the chairperson did say, my name is Ronelle Klinck. I'm joining you from Wits University of Witwatersrand. And, you know, this came about really because of the discussions that I've been having with staff specifically. And they're all talking about the loss of critical thinking in the age of AI. So I started thinking of ways in which, you know, whether I'm lecturing or if I'm helping to design, you know, engagement in our LMS, how can I actually encourage critical thinking, you know, using different tools and so forth. So I started doing some research and playing around with different apps and so forth. Now, I really want to start off by using the analogy and saying, remember, participation is like Wi-Fi. It's stronger when everyone's connected. So I invite you to go to nearpod.com in your browser. You can use any browser. And then you've got to type in the lesson code 4JT5D. It is case sensitive, so you've got to type it in exactly like that. And I can do a copy as well. Leilani, you can just let me know if everyone's still able to see my screen.
Yes, we can. Yes, Ronelle.
Okay, great. So yeah, like what is cool about you know, discussion forums in the age of AI? So I came up with this idea from talk to thought, leveraging group discussions for deeper learning. Now, there's different tools that one can use to do this. And, you know, back in the day, this was actually called a back channel. So, for example, you were busy teaching or facilitating, lecturing, whatever, and at the back, your students were engaged in some form of discussion group, etc., reflecting on various things. And this is how this actually came about. Now, everything that I've used comes from, obviously, from my experience and my discipline and specialist background around AI and so forth. So that's why I'm acknowledging it off the bat. So this app allows you to do a couple of other things besides discussion forums. It allows you to take virtual reality field trips, as an example, if you want to explore that, or auto grading using AI, or 3D objects, great quality videos from BBC content. But today I want to focus on discussion groups, and I implore you to go and play around with those other tools as well, just so that you can have an idea in terms of what Neopod is about. I also make suggestions as to other free tools that you can use. Now, in any university, there's a learning management system, and you probably have a discussion forum. And what I've learned from academics, they shy away from discussion forums. So I would rather encourage you to start using it, because peer review, being reviewed by my peer, is so important to me. What their thoughts are. So I see some people are starting to engage and interact. Again, your voice is missing in the file if you're not dropping it onto the discussion board. And I see more things coming through, and it's wonderful. I really appreciate the engagement. So that's exactly what I wanted to happen. So what you'll see is the question that I said, AI took my job, or did it? Reflect and make a decision if AI is your teaching assistant, your rival, or chaotic sidekick, and provide one reason for your choice. Now, so what's happening in the background? I may have used this for my students, but I have so much ways in which I can grant permissions. For example, what I've turned off to keep it anonymous, students can't see names, but I can see names, which is important, right? So I can see who's actually engaging in class or not, so this kind of permission for me is really unique to Neopod, and that's why I like it specifically. And I'm going to approve everything. I'm not going to read what you've posted. And Amanda says, I think AI is a teaching assistant. Kristen, chaotic sidekick. I would agree with you, Kristen, on that. And I see Lindy has said the same thing. Lots of people saying the same sort of thing, and engagement. But, that's really what reflection is about, as well as deep learning using AI. Now, discussion groups really provide that, instance where if you go to any of those, comments, you can now go and like a specific comment, as an example. But you can also add to your peer, whatever your peer is saying as well. And like I said, it's so important, not only just to provide a discussion group. And by the fact that you tell them it's anonymous, they are more than going to engage a lot more, other than if their name was there as well. But it's also there's a lot of things and ways in which you need to scaffold the learning process. So you can't start at the end of the year with discussion groups and say, oh, well, I've done a great job this year and I'm going to end off with discussion groups. You have to start in year one, right at the beginning of your block one or Jan, whenever your academic calendar starts. And that's how you start teaching, that it's fine to use discussion groups. I can reflect on it. I can provide my views, and nobody's actually going to bully me on this platform, because I know that my lecturer is going to be there to support me, to approve their thoughts, etc., etc. So that was the one thing that I wanted to talk about there. and I'm watching time. So if you look again in the age of AI, what if, imagine a university where AI agents are lecturers? And I mean, obviously, we know that's not possible. That's, you definitely need human intervention. But today, I want you to think about if there was this possibility of an AI university using agents. Um, do you like it? Yes or no? Provide examples of the pros and cons of your choice. So if you could start chatting and using the discussion board again, once again, you can share your views because it's anonymous, etc., etc. So while you're doing that, like I said, I wanted to show you a couple of things and the ways in which Neopod stands out for me as a discussion forum. Yes, you can use this as a plug into your LMS and so forth as well. What's great about it, you can download when we talk about the age of analytics as well. So you can download a report to actually see who's been engaging or not, and so forth. And you can add an activity. The activities that I'm talking about is the options that I spoke about earlier, like VR field trips and 3D objects and stuff like that as well, which you can include in Neopod as well, which is really, really great. I see there's a comment, so I'm going to approve it. I would say yes to it, but then what if they crack contextually inappropriate jokes? Yeah, I would agree with that. AI still has a lot to learn. So absolutely. So not only do I have these options for predictive analytics and so forth as well, like I was said earlier on, if you're only joining now, you also have the student options as an example. Let me just turn that off. And so you can, approve student posts and so forth. You can edit their responses if so on and so on. I'd like to see what else everyone is saying. Okay, I prefer interacting with the human. I'm with you, Kristen, definitely. That's exactly how I feel. And so, in the age of, again, of AI, how do we use discussion groups to foster learning that's deeper and more impactful in our institutions as well? And yeah, that's me. I hope you go and have a look at it. I'm going to post in the chat and stop sharing now. Just a couple of other discussion forums that you may be interested in using as well. But I must say that Neopod is definitely my favorite out of all of them. So let me just go back. And yeah, so the one is, when I say it, it's going to be different. Some of you will remember Flipgrid, which is now no longer. So that's why I like this one specifically. And I'm just going to drop it into the chat. A little bit hard to pronounce. Vokaroo is the name of that app. And then the last one that I would suggest you go and play around with is Screencast Automatic. So those are the two that I would recommend besides, but my favorite is still Neopod as well. And that's me, Landini.
Thanks, Ronelle. This was very informative. I've never heard about Vocaroo before. I think Screencast-O-Matic is probably an extension